Hey guys, Dre here with a very first look at Formula 1 2014. Yeah, I know, sorry I've been so late, I've just been wrapped up in work and university, but hopefully now the schedule has eased a little bit and I'll be able to produce some more content for you guys. So, without further ado, here are my thoughts, and this is what I was always planning to do. I was always planning to have a full review of F1 2014 up on the channel beforehand. Unfortunately, it's been a little bit more delayed than I would have liked. But here is my review, my full thoughts on the game in detail. I apologise in advance if it comes across as a little bit scripted. Spoiler alert, it is. Hopefully you guys understand that. So I'm not going to be my usual fully natural, charismatic self, but I wanted to get all my views across on paper, and sometimes winging it just wouldn't work as well. So hopefully you guys understand that. And yeah, of course, let me hear your thoughts in the description, or in the comments below, I should say. And yeah, I hope you guys appreciate the review, enjoy the gameplay, and yeah, more soon. So here we go. Hey folks, Dre here, and it's time to review that difficult fifth album for Codemasters and the F1 franchise with F1 2014 on the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 and PC. With next-gen consoles now among us, and with F1 2015 already confirmed for next year, the feeling in the air is that this game is nothing more than a placeholder to tide us over until next year. While that's a harsh assumption, there is some validity to this statement, and in the course of this review, I'll explain why. First up, let's break down the graphics and presentation. Graphically, the game looks almost identical to last year, actually. The two new tracks in Austria and Sochi in Russia, though, are well rendered and fit in with the rest of the franchise well. Bahrain at night looks great with the fireworks too, though, even if you'll be creeped out by the 11 million floodlights around the track now. On the whole, though, I suspect Codemasters has taken this graphical engine about as far as they can possibly take it. So, how about the game's presentation? Well, those who expecting a throwback to 2010 and 2011 prepare to be disappointed. Besides a small colour tweak, like the menu boxes being black rather than turquoise, and the background image now being turns 1 at 2 at Bahrain, the game's presentation is practically identical to last year, even down to the menu style. It makes you sigh at how uninspiring it is. Where's the new game feel here that makes us actually want to pick up and play it? You don't want to turn a game on immediately and somehow get the impression that you've not changed from last year. Another visual detail worth pointing out is the new steering wheels. To update with the times, many cars now have LCD monitors on them, and Cody's has implemented that with the cars this year, and it actually provides some helpful information on engine and tyre temperature. So nice touch there, but it's not accurate with the Williams car. They switched to the butterfly wheel but have the old one still, and through no fault of their own, cars like Red Bull, Williams and Force India are automatically at a disadvantage as they use the old wheels. A shame, but not entirely Codemaster's fault. The camera angles like the T-cam and cockpit cam are still very good. So, on to the gameplay itself. How does the refined handling model feel for F1 2014? Well, you have to take into account that I'm a pad user, so I like to think I'm in the majority of people who will actually buy this game. And I'm pleased to report the handling model I enjoy. It's certainly different and fits the bill for what the new 2014 cars are bringing to the table on the real tracks themselves. The cars have a lot more torque, so without the assists, the cars are much more twitchy at the rear, less downforce means you have to be more careful through medium and high speed corners, and you have a fair bit more oversteer because of the massively increased torque over the wide power band. It works, and once I got used to it, it was very rewarding and a fun and refreshing change compared to last year. And the cars still have different characteristic feels, such as Mercedes being the overall best dominant package, while Red Bull still has great cornering grip and downforce, but poor straight line speed, while Williams are the fastest in a straight line, etc. You can feel the difference, and that's a great positive, although I'm not entirely sure there should be a 5-second a lap difference between the top cars and the bottom cars. That might be a bit too much. And as much as a big deal has been made over the sound and the sound changes in real life to the engines and its translation into video games, I think Cody's have done a pretty good job of capturing the throaty whine that these new hybrid cars produce. But for every positive, there's sadly some negatives. The AI, a constant source of disappointment, is largely the same this year. They're still unpredictable in terms of racing lines when defending, they're still hesitant to engage in passing attempts, and very easy to defend against, even in slower cars, a common trait of F1 games from the very beginning. Cody's implementation of corner cutting penalties is still really inconsistent. For instance, Ascari you can still cut like mad and get away with it, and the anti-curb added nothing to unsettle the car. But Australia at turn 1 is still a minefield. These are fundamental problems with the game that after 5 years have still yet to be truly addressed, and that is completely unacceptable. There have also been massive disparities between performances and ability on pads compared to the wheel users, with wheel users getting shafted on the new handling model. Beating the Legend AI in the rain? According to Kunt Martinson, aka FizzyFan91, AOR League Runner, it's practically impossible, and that's not a good look. If you're going to have wheel support, you have to make it as fair as possible. No one should have to spend £40 on a game, wants to race hard, but then gets screwed on competition by pad runners of similar or equal skill. A shame, as the divide from last year was so much smaller. So what does 2014 bring to the table? Gone is the young driver test from previous years, in its place a simple evaluation test, a one-lap race around Monza where the game gets an idea and suggests a difficulty level for you. See, this is a key part of F1 2014's marketing, its accessibility factor, the refined pad handling and the new very easy difficulty to make this year's game as easy to get used to as possible for new players. I mean, shit, they even plugged the test on the back of the box like that's a key feature. Welp! It does its job adequately enough, but you'll never need it again afterwards. It's a bit cringy that a 2-minute one-off lap is an advertised feature in the game. For the career section, season challenge is virtually identical to last year, and career mode is largely unchanged. A shame with the new one gearbox setting rule you can't set your map before you start the season, but overall it is what it is. A lot of it's still down to taking advantage of the AI's weaker opening half lap, then defending like hell when they get faster on the more challenging difficulties. And because the cars upgrade themselves over the course of the season, it's not the most motivating to play because the full version of the cars are essentially what you drive in GP mode anyway. A nice feature though is now getting the choice of having either a 7, 12 or full 19 race season, encouraging more speedy players to climb the ladder a little faster, because career mode can be a grind. Also, you can choose any team in the game to start off with, a nice touch, as being stuck with the lower teams while more realistic just isn't as fun sometimes. A shame though you can't choose your teammate right off the bat. I mean, would you really want to race Felipe Massa or Valtteri Bottas? Scenario Mode 2 is largely similar to last year, and you have time attack and time trial to round off the offline features. Nothing new there. So what about online play? Again, the main modes are the same. If you're not in private lobbies, you're sprinting up to 16-player lobbies. Unfortunately though, online still has many of the same problems in previous year's games too. Testing already confirming that the netcode still has lag issues, and the infamous sideplod glitch is still a thing too. And if the disparities between pad and wheel play are confirmed to be true, it will hurt the online activity and competitive league racing, something the game has become famous for. So, what do I think of the game overall? Disappointed. F1 2014 is not a bad experience at all. At its core, the game is still enjoyable, and the handling models does actually work well here. The problem is, the package it's surrounded by is bland, repetitive, and dull. Removing the classic content from F1 2013 means you're actually getting less for your money here. That alone is a cardinal error. And if you take the handling models away, you essentially have a game practically identical to last year, and unless you're a competitive player, or someone who likes racking up the laps, you haven't got a lot really to keep you busy. The emphasis of the game was about accessibility. The problem with that is Codemasters will risk alienating their current hardcore audience that keeps the sales up, and that's always a risky bit of business. What F1 2014 is proof that the franchise is running out of steam and can't really go much further from here for now. The core is great, but the package makes it a worse complete video game than what we had last year. I recommend you try and rent the game rather than buy it, and see if the drive in itself is worth the investment. Me personally, I cannot recommend dropping £40 into this if you're a regular or hardcore player on the fence. If you've taken a break and feel like hopping back in, this may be worth a look, but overall this may be the weakest game in the franchise to date, and I really hope that the Codemasters team are working hard on next year's next-gen upgrade, because what we have here, after 5 years of tweaks and subtle changes, decent just simply isn't good enough anymore. I hope you guys enjoyed my review. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comments below. And yeah, let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your guys' take as always. Until next time, I've been Harrison101. Thank you very much for watching, and sayonara.